Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, May 29th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. Norwood's town election is less than 2 weeks away, and the town is preparing for its first ever no-touch election. There has been a lot of planning and preparation that has gone into this historic election. Here are some of the guidelines that you should be aware of prior to June 8th.
The election is on June 8th. Polls are open from 7 to 8, and we want everyone to know that the election is going to be safe, and we encourage you to come out and vote. Each voter will be given an individual voter kit, which contains your pen and a mask and a pair of gloves, and we encourage everyone to wear a mask when they come into vote on June 8th. There'll be sanitizer stations set up as you come in. When you go to check in with your ballot clerk, the clerks will be behind a plastic shield. All of the voting booths are 6 feet apart, at least. These voting booths will be sanitized in between each voter voting. When you go to check out, the ballot clerks will also be behind a shield. The wardens will also have individual shields as well if you need to talk to a warden about your voting. And as you leave after voting, you'll be able to deposit your used mask and gloves and bag in a trash receptacle, and you'll have a bin there where we'll ask you to put the pen in. You can certainly hold on to the mask or the gloves if you want.
We are working hard to have a no-touch election as much as we can, and it's a safe place to come. So I encourage everybody, if they did not vote by absentee, to come out to the polls on voting day.
And special credit goes to the town clerk's office for all the work they've put together in putting together our no-touch election.
Make sure to get out and vote on June 8th. You may notice the big screen sign as you pass Central Auto on Route 1. Recognize any faces? I know I do. Yes, that's the class of 2020. The Central Auto team and NHS came together to honor our soon-to-be graduates by displaying their name and photo on the big board as you drive by or drive in. Tom and Michael Easy discovered this great idea to congratulate our seniors.
Hi, my name is Tom. I'm the general manager at Central in Norwood. My son Mike, and the sign behind us is where we're putting all the Norwood graduates up. Mike works with us out back in the shop, and one day we're out back and the owner, Peter Catnese, come down and said, Mike, what's going on for graduation? And at the time, it was all up in the air. We didn't know what was going on, no recognition, everything was canceled. So he said, we got the sign out front, which we use a lot for public information. And he said, put the kids' pictures up there and congratulate them. So that's basically how it started. I contacted the principal, and he sent an email to all the parents. And one thing led to another. It took us a few weeks to get it together. And it's up on the sign, which I think is great for the kids. Some people have called, some people have come in. They can come down and stand in the parking lot and take a picture with their children in front of the sign, which is no problem.
Thank you both for a wonderful idea, and congratulations to you, Michael. We will be right back after this break for some more town news.
Hi everyone, Aubrey here from Impact Norwood. I'm excited to share that coming up on June 11th at 7 p.m., Impact Norwood has teamed up with the Oasis Coalition of Stoughton to bring in 5-time Olympian, Olympic and world champion, cancer fighter, and mom, Keegan Randall. Keegan will be sharing her story of perseverance and providing us all with some much needed motivation. You can register to join the webinar at impactnorwood.org. Or if you're not too comfortable with technology, our great partner, NCM, will be airing the webinar live on a local station. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Aubrey Seol at aciol@norwoodma.gov. And again, visit impactnorwood.org to register for the webinar. This is definitely one you don't want to miss.
Welcome back. The Norwood Library has been working at an online capacity during the stay-at-home order for the community. The library has begun part of their phased reopening plan in accordance with the governor's actions, which includes a curbside takeaway option.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Kennelly, Director of the Morrill Memorial Library here in Norwood. And you'll notice that our doors are still closed, but we are in level 3 of phase 1 of our reopening plan, which includes curbside delivery. and we will be getting ready to do some outreach delivery to our homebound patrons. We know that you've been virtually connecting with us and downloading videos and ebooks and everything else that you've wanted, but we are now ready to get you some of the physical materials that we have in the library. We've still been buying all the bestsellers. We have them all processed. We're all ready to get them out. The first couple days of curbside delivery, which begins today, which is Tuesday, May 26th, will be those items that we have on the shelf, that we've had on the shelf waiting for patrons. But the next couple days at the end of the week, you can start requesting your items through the Minuteman Library Catalog, or calling one of our reference librarians, or chatting with us on our website, on the Chat With Us app, or you can email any of us and request some of those items that you've been waiting for. We have a very strict, safe policy of curbside delivery out here by the front doors. You'll be making appointments with us. You cannot show up to the library unless you have an appointment. Those will be 15-minute slots, and you can do that by calling the library, going on the website, going to make an appointment. You can certainly find that information. The Chat With Us app feature is wonderful because a live librarian is manning that from 9 to 5 every day, which has been the case all throughout the closure. And we really want to get these materials to you. So please get in touch with us and find out how we can get those to you while we are still closed. We have a very safe situation here at the library. Minimal staff are working at the library. Most are working from home. We're using PPE. We have masks on at all times, and we're doing this as safely as possible. When the governor opens up another stage, which may be a while from now, we will be looking at how we can safely open the library. Thanks.
One of the newer and more exciting features the library has offered and will continue to offer is what is called the QR Project, a bar-coded online book rental system placed around the outside of the building. Assistant Library Director Lydia Sampson explains further.
Even though the library is closed to the public as a building right now, you can still come to the library and you can still check out books virtually. We have so much available as ebooks and audiobooks, and the QR code is a way of connecting people to some of these. As you know, our building has the names of some classic authors etched on the outside of the building, and so we decided to feature some books by these classic authors. So we have these garden stakes with QR codes on them that correspond to some classic books. And the way a QR code works is you hold up your phone, your smartphone or tablet, and just like you're taking a picture of something, you point your camera at the QR code and it will automatically take you to a link in our catalog for one of these books, and you can check it out as an ebook. If you haven't used our ebook and audiobook resources before, you can download the apps and you can link your account and you can have access to plenty of ebooks, audiobooks, streaming video, plenty of resources that you can use even though the physical library is currently closed.
Thank you to the library for your continued efforts to serve the Norwood community. Stay tuned after this break for some school and government news.
Hi, I'm Dispatcher Joe Montesano here at the Norwood Police Department. Lived in the town for 30 years, love what I do, love my job. I have 3 kids, all go to public schools here in Norwood. Today's question is going to be, when you call 911 from your cell phone, where does it go and what happens after you make the call? Call 911, comes into the dispatch center here, one of the dispatchers answers the call. We have 2 screens, one that brings up the location of where the call is coming from, and also another screen comes in who's the caller and the number that is attached to that call. We again ask information if it's going to be a fire call, police, or both. Could be either one. We actually, when we do call, if it's a police, we dispatch to our police officers on the road and direct them where to go. address, location. Sometimes it's a proximity because it's not always exactly where it's going to be. When you do call from your landline, it pings right where the phone is coming from, where the phone call is coming from. And also, for lastly, you can text 911 as well. If you can't call, you can text, and you can program the numbers 491 into your cell phone so you don't have to look for it and search it. You just hit the button and it calls right to the police department here. Thank you.
Welcome back. In school news this week, we had a chance to talk with Coakley Middle School teacher Rachel Siegel. Rachel was the Masons 2019 Teacher of the Year and teaches 6th grade English for the Blue Team. Let's see how she has adapted to remote learning.
So we have been trying to help the 6th graders plan out their time a little more and set up more of a routine at home, since so much of the work does end up being independent. So on Monday and Tuesday, they always have an assignment in what's called Common Lit, which is a website where they read different types of texts and answer some questions and practice their short answer writing skills. And then every Wednesday, they do what's called Freckle, which is an online program that helps them practice all different skills, but we focus on vocabulary. Thursdays is Grammar Day, so we use a website called No Red Ink where they practice their grammar. And then Friday, they end the week just in Google Classroom responding to a journal assignment, so they practice more of their open-ended creative writing skills.
Rachel was able to transition into remote learning because technology was already a part of her curriculum.
So there was a good amount of new technology that I had to learn. The students all had their own Chromebook, so that part was good, and they already knew how to use Google Classroom, as did I. They were also familiar with a homework link, so they go to that every day to check the work. So a lot of it was already in place. Some of the new websites we hadn't learned yet, and the students had never used some of them either. So I had to learn how to use them and how to set up assignments, and the students had to learn how to log in with a class code. So a good amount of this has been helping the students as well as myself troubleshoot just a lot of basic problems like logging in with Google or how to set up the class code properly. So a good portion has been more technology support as opposed to more content support.
One of the great traditions at CMS is participating in the Jimmy Fund Scooper Bowl. This year was different, and it turned into a great way for CMS to stay connected.
So in an effort to try to keep the students more engaged, not just academically, but through some of the other things that we do at school, we started with the Jimmy Fund, a virtual Scooper Bowl, where students and families would take pictures of themselves eating ice cream at home, and then I would post it on the Twitter page. And then the Jimmy Fund actually was choosing different photos that people posted as winners of their contest. So there are 2 students from the Coakley Middle School that won free home delivery of ice cream and also tickets to the actual Scooper Bowl whenever that takes place. So that was a nice way to do something that we do normally during a regular school year, but in more of a virtual way. So we were staying connected and doing something for a good cause, while we're outside of school.
It has not been easy for educators to teach when they are not in a classroom and not in front of their students. Rachel reflects on this difficult time.
Some of the things that I miss definitely would be being at school with the students in front of me. I always realize what a difference it makes being with the students as opposed to, when they're at home doing their homework, but helping them in person is just so different than trying to help them online. Trying to motivate them in a time that is very easy to not be motivated has been a challenge. So trying to stay connected to them and reach out to them has been tough. So just being in school is something that I really miss, and just, seeing their faces every day, although we do the Google Meets, but actually physically seeing them and just chatting about everyday things is something that I miss. And I miss that about my colleagues too. You realize how much you appreciate your colleagues, but then being away from them, you don't realize how much you actually talk to them every day about everything. So that's been something, huge that I miss too. It's just not the same connecting virtually, even though I'm grateful that I at least have that.
Thank you to all the teachers in Norwood. You guys are still connecting with your students and making a difference in their lives. Now we're going to toss it over to our good friend Brian Dunn with sports.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn, and big news out of the hockey world. Anthony Marchand, a soon-to-be graduating senior, has officially committed to play for the Worcester Railers Junior Hockey Club in the next coming months. What an incredible hockey accomplishment. Anthony, congratulations. I caught up with Anthony a few days ago to get his thoughts on the team.
So I talked to the head coach, Chuck Allen, before the season. He asked me if I wanted to play juniors. And I told him that I was interested because I know that you have to take the junior route and then go play college somewhere. So he was like, I'm going to reach out to a bunch of teams. They're going to come to the games. I'm not going to tell you when they're going to come, obviously. I mean, freshman year, I've always wanted to go to college, and I always wanted to keep playing hockey after high school. But it was more of like a junior year when I really started like, okay, like I'm going to have to grind for this. I'm going to have to actually work hard because like D1's not really in the picture. Like D3 is no joke. And like I found that out from Coach Allen and a bunch of coaches that D3 is crazy competitive. So I started working to get there from in junior year, and I knew that the juniors is the route that you have to take to go do that.
And big news out of the alumni world. As you may already know, Patrick Forrest has been killing it over at the Virginia Tech track scene, and he has officially took home the USTF CCCA All-American status. What an incredible accomplishment for Norwood High alumni. Congratulations, Pat. And with that, my sports update is concluded. But before I go, I want to address the class of 2020. As I said a couple of weeks ago, obviously, this is a very unprecedented time. There's really no words to describe how different this feels, obviously, but I want you guys to know how much I appreciated working with you all this past year. You guys you set a standard and a bar for Norwood athletics that is going to be the new standard moving forward, especially with the Tri-Valley switch, and you guys have had really sort of unprecedented success, and that's built from freshman year into senior year, and it's been a pleasure to watch you all compete and perform and, carry that emotion with you, whatever you do and whatever sport you do. So from an athletic standpoint, from a professional standpoint, I want to thank you all, congratulate you for this coming week and for graduating. And hopefully I get to see you all again soon. But if this is the last time I get to see you all, thank you for such an incredible year and an incredible couple years here at Norwood High.
Thanks, Brian. At their May 26th meeting, the Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to approve the final draft of the regulations allowing additional outdoor seating at local businesses.
So we have that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Maloney?
Aye.
Mr. Hajar?
Aye.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Plasko?
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative, so that's 5-0 in the affirmative.
The board came to a unanimous vote after reservations Selectman Plasko had stated in their May 19th meeting.
I think the emphasis was not so much on the regulations. The intent of the regulations was fine, but a concern over the particular examples that had been given and the practicality in some cases of doing the work. And speaking for myself, I was concerned that there seemed to be a little too much enthusiasm for the restaurants without enough consideration for the other businesses downtown.
The Board of Selectmen will meet again on June 2nd. Tuesday afternoon, the Finance Commission met shortly to discuss final budgetary items ahead of the anticipated June town meeting. The Commission worked hard in the days leading up to Tuesday, making adjustments to the revenue budget as it pertains to COVID-19. Tony Mazzucco presented the document to the board and to the public, highlighting key adjustments proposed, including a pause on pension funding and stabilization and override stabilization contributions. The board voted unanimously to go forward with the proposed FY21 budget into town meeting. Some other business was taken care of, including reserve fund transfers for both a fire engine repair and a police radio communications systems upgrade. The Finance Commission will meet again in the coming weeks. Wednesday afternoon, the town, in partnership with Friends of Norwood Center, hosted a back-to-business informational meeting for all the restaurant owners in town. Assistant Town Planner Patrick Deshane started the meeting with a brief presentation that outlined the guidelines for the restaurant reopening during Phase 2. Owners were informed that the town is allowing for temporary outdoor seating to help restaurants operate during the pandemic. Following the presentation, Health Director Sigal Reese and Town Planner Paul Halkiotis answered questions by the restaurant owners. There will be another informational meeting once the state provides more guidelines. Wednesday night, the school committee meeting met and began their meeting with 4 principals making appearances and presenting to the committee. The principals that were in attendance were Dr. Frasick of the middle school, Mr. Riley from the Prescott, Mrs. Ferreira from the Balch, and Mrs. Coppola from the Cleveland. Each gave a brief presentation to the board about their school improvement plans for the coming years. Following the principal appearances, Ms. Sheridan provided 5 budget updates, including the discussion of reimbursements of bus fees, which was tabled to next week's meeting. To end the meeting, committee member Bodenhofer provided an update on the budget subcommittee's FY21 budget discussions.
So what we said, we really want to plan for possibly $2.7 million less in revenue than we originally anticipated. And so if we did that, Mr. Mizuko made some recommendations for how to adjust the budget in response. So one thing is, this was already planned even before the last FinCom meeting, is that some of the capital outlay items that had originally been planned are going to be delayed. We had originally, the capital outlay committee had voted to spend about $2.6 million in free cash on capital. Those things will be postponed to preserve our free cash to give the town more flexibility.
The next school committee meeting will be Wednesday night. The Airport Commission met on Thursday to receive a project update from Du Bois & King. The Commission also discussed the Phase 2 fit-out of the new administrative building. The Airport Commission will meet again next month. Thursday afternoon, the League of Women Voters hosted their annual Candidates Night. This event is for the candidates who are running for elected positions in town, such as selectmen, to answer questions provided to them by members of the League of Women Voters and sent in from residents of town. The only contested race this year was for selectmen, and this year's candidates are Amanda Groh, Debbie Holmwood, Helen Abdallah Donahue, and Matt Lane. NCM will be rebroadcasting in Candidates Night leading up to the June 8th election. The Middle School Building Committee met late Friday afternoon to review the proposals submitted for the owner's project manager. The owner project manager guides the school building process from design through construction completion. The committee reviewed the qualifications for each firm and selected firms to be interviewed in the upcoming week. Stay tuned to MCM for the interviews. To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for some more town news.
David Hearn, Town Moderator, has announced that town meeting has been postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The town's bylaws require the annual town meeting to begin on the second Monday in May, which was scheduled to be May 11th. Due to the current state of emergency and restrictions to public gatherings, it is necessary to postpone the May 11th meeting. Under Chapter 39, Section 10A of the General Laws of Massachusetts, as amended by Chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020. The town moderator may grant a 30-day recess. Hearn, under these laws, has declared a recess until June 3rd, with the intent to declare a further recess until June 22nd at a later date. Tune into Norwood Community Media for more town meeting news.
Welcome back. With a lot of businesses being affected by the COVID-19 crisis, there have been many resources available to businesses. Megan Corbett was able to talk with Tom O'Rourke, the president and CEO of the Neponset River Regional Chamber.
So it's really changed our business model dramatically, just like a lot of other businesses. We run a lot of events. We bring people together to meet socially and network, and we obviously can't do that anymore. So we've put everything online. Everything is virtual now. We've held a number of virtual networking meetings, get-togethers for our members, sometimes just to talk about what they're dealing with in their own business and share ideas and tips with one another. So we've done a lot of that through Zoom meetings and that sort of thing. But the other thing that we've done that I think is really important is provide information to our members. And so I've been on phone calls every week with the Lieutenant Governor and the Director of Economic Development and the unemployment office, where we get information about what they're doing and things that we can share with our members about the resources available to them. We also have weekly calls with the United States Chamber of Commerce and the CDC, where we get information about some of the federal programs that are available, the SBA as well. So we've had a lot of information about the loan programs that are available. We try to curate that and push it out to our members so that they're aware of the resources that are available to them.
Awesome. So what if someone was interested, obviously you have to be a part of the chamber, or do can anyone use the resources?
Yeah, so obviously we're a membership organization, and we're challenged right now with income because we're not running events, which is where we generate a lot of income, and a lot of our members can't afford to pay their dues right now. So, but these are extraordinary times. We get it. We're not dropping any members if they don't pay their dues. We're letting them continue, but we're also opening things up to all businesses because all businesses are suffering, and we don't want to exclude anybody. So all of the resources that I've mentioned, all the different things we've put together, are all on our website. And right on the homepage, it's nrrchamber.com. Right on the homepage, there's a link to the COVID resource page. Any business can go there and they can access all of the information that's available from the federal government, from the SBA, from the state, whatever it might be. It's all right there. It's one-stop shopping. The other thing we have right there too is our link to the restaurants and the local restaurants in the area, because we've been trying to support them, like a lot of people, by encouraging people to do takeout and do whatever they can to keep the restaurants going. So there's a list of all the restaurants there that are offering takeout or pickup, and you can access that as well.
That's great. And if anyone has any questions about like the loan program and a lot of businesses, are you well versed in that? Can they help, can you help out with that?
Yeah, I can provide a pretty good amount of information on the loan programs that are available, what's available, how you qualify, how you apply, and that sort of thing. But also, if it gets into more specifics, a lot of people have questions about the forgivability of some of these loans, where you don't have to pay them back. I can connect them with the people who have the answers to the more specific, detailed information about that.
That's great. So, obviously, if you're listening, you're watching this, go to the Chamber's website, reach out to Tom, reach out to his staff, and, hopefully they can get you the right resources and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and, and we're looking forward right now to reopening, and we're providing a lot more information about how businesses can reopen, what they need to do, because at the end of the day, you got to get customers back, and you're only going to do that if they're comfortable coming back. So we're trying to provide that information as well.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you so much for, updating us, and keep us posted on, what's going on further as the state tries to reopen.
Will do. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tom. Please reach out to the Chamber for any information or to utilize their resources. Our state representatives have been working very hard to make sure that the needs of the citizens of Massachusetts are being met. Norwood State Representative John Rogers stopped by the NCM studio to update us on some of the laws and changes that have been made in the State House.
One of the first things that came to my attention through the high school administration, it was actually Norwood School Committee that brought it to our attention. They needed to meet, and they needed to meet virtually, and the governor's office thought that we needed to change the state law on that, and we researched that and got back with the governor, and the governor, by executive order, allowed school committees, some 300 school districts across the Commonwealth, to meet virtually. So some of the school committee sessions you've seen have been because of that executive order, but it was a product of working together over a period of, let's say, 5 days intensely. The other thing that we had to do as a legislature was to adopt emergency rules to enable the state legislature to meet twice a week. The Massachusetts Constitution just cannot be waived. So the Massachusetts legislature has to meet twice a week. So we needed to adopt special rules to allow the House of Representatives, the Senate, to meet virtually. Some of the things the laws that we passed were to waive the MCAS requirement for our school students, and to loosen the strictures to enable DESE to allow graduations to occur in the Commonwealth, to help our nursing homes that were hit hard, I should say, with this pandemic, and to empower the Department of Public Health to more closely monitor nursing homes and assisted living facilities across the Commonwealth. Another law that we passed was something that the Norwood Town Meeting petitioned the House and the Senate, and that is to enable our Police Chief, Bill Brooks, to continue on. And so we had to change the law on that. The retirement law is to allow and enable Chief Brooks to continue the town's public safety response to the COVID-19 crisis. So we will be working hard, Senator Rush and I, to ensure that the investments that the taxpayers, the local taxpayers, made in our public education system, K through 12, are maintained. There's some talk about deep cuts in the FY 2021 budget. The House has yet to take up that budget. We will be doing that very soon. We'll probably be doing it virtually to stay safe. But Senator Rush and I have maintained our commitment to continue the increased funding for our public school systems here in Norwood, Walpole, the other part of my district, and all across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So that's a brief update of what we're doing, what we continue to do, and I urge you all to stay safe and try to have fun during these times, but do so in a safe way. And if you need me or my office, please call 617-722-2092. And if there's no one there to pick up the phone at the time, just feel free to leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Last Saturday, the Winter Street Composting and Recycling Facility returned to their normal operations after just accepting grass clippings and brush for almost 2 months. For more on the operations and some of the restrictions that are still in place, we go to the director of the DPW, Mark Ryan.
As many of you know, with the COVID crisis, we were operating at a limited capacity here, just allowing disposal of leaves, brush, and some cardboard. That went on for about 2 months, but fortunately we reopened to normal operations on Saturday, May 23rd. We're open every Saturday, as you all know, from 8 to 1:30 p.m. You can come here and dispose of the leaves, the brush, the grass, and cardboard, but back to normal operations also means you can get rid of metals, bulk items, styrofoam, mercury products, old books, mattresses, and rigid plastic, as well as food scraps. With the COVID crisis, there are some changes in the operation here, and as you drive in, you'll see some reminders to practice social distance. When you're out of the vehicle, please wear your mask. This protects your neighbor who might be loading things next to you, and the workers here. And finally, you have to unload your items when you get here. Public Works attendants will not be handling any of the materials you bring in, but they're easily loaded by yourself into a front-end loader that's here that will dump it into the appropriate container. So hopefully that works out for you. The heavier items, you might want to bring a second person, just because we want you to unload it and not have the attendants dealing with that. So hopefully this goes away in weeks, months, who knows, but we'll be back to regular operations where the attendants can help you. But please, when you show up, wear your face mask out of the vehicles, social distance when you're here, and self-load your items, and please be safe. We're all going to get through this.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.